Morning, everybody. This is our Friday flow. For today's class, you'll want to grab a set of blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can always use a pillow or book something sturdy but soft. You can also grab a strap if you'd like. We'll use that throughout different poses today. We're not going to do anything standing. It's going to be a nice and relaxing flow. We're actually going to focus today on opening up the hip. We carry a lot of tension in our hips today, so a lot of the moves that we do today are going to be focused around opening the hips. Let's start with our warm-up. Coming to a child's pose, bringing your toes to touch, knees fall open. You're welcome to bring a block under your hips. You can also place a block gently under your forehead and extending your arms out long in front. Just relaxing here, focusing on your breath. Deep inhales, filling your belly, ribs, and lungs. Hold it at the top. Full exhale, ribs and belly. Deep inhale, belly, ribs, and lungs. Full exhale through the mouth, lungs, ribs, and belly. Continue with that breath, and this time when you reach the top, filling all the way up to the very top of your rib cage, seal your lips, breathing in and out through your nose. Allowing heat to gather inside your body this morning. Your forehead from side to side. Actively pressing your hips in towards your heels, stretching your fingertips long past the crown of your head towards the top of your mat. Maybe past your mat, depending on where your body is placed. If you're rocking your forehead gently, go ahead and come back to center. Walk your hands gently over to the left side of your mat. Stretching your right shoulder gently down towards the floor. To lessen that stretch, you can gently rise the right shoulder up. You can also place your right palm on top of your left, actively pressing your right hip in towards your right heel, feeling that stretch all along the right side body. Next exhale, gently walk your hands through center, walking them this time over to the right side of your mat. Gently rotating your left shoulder in towards the floor to deepen that sensation. If you'd like to lessen it, feel free to lift your left shoulder gently off of the floor. And you're actively stretching your left hip towards your left heel, fingertips long out in front over to the right side of your mat. If you'd like, you can place your left palm on top of the right. Here for one more breath. On your exhale, gently walk your hands back to center. Placing your forehead once again on the block or the pillow. Release your forearms onto the floor and bend your elbows, bringing your palms to touch. If you like to deepen that tricep stretch, you can draw your thumbs towards the nape of your neck. Bend your arms back out long. Press your finger pads into the floor and lift your forearms up, stretching your shoulders. Place your arms back down to the floor. Reaching your left arm up towards the ceiling, Draw your left arm under and through the right side body. Inhale, left arm high, thread the needle in child's pose. Exhale, left arm under and through the right side body. One more time. Inhale, left arm lifts high. Exhale, draw that left arm under and through the right side body, gently releasing your left ear or cheek onto the floor or onto a block. You're welcome to bind your right hand around towards your left hip, opening up your right shoulder. Have your right hand binded. Go ahead and extend it back out long in front of your shoulder. Inhale, lift your left arm high. Exhale, plant your left arm directly out in front of your left shoulder. Come back down, forehead onto the floor or to a block. Reset. And inhale, lift your right arm high. Exhale, draw it under and through the left side body. Inhale, lift your right arm high. Maybe gaze up towards your right fingertips. Exhale as you draw that right arm under and through the left side body. Once more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, draw that right arm under and through. Maybe placing your right ear or cheek onto the floor or onto a block if that is comfortable. You can keep that left arm extended out long in front. You can also bind your left arm around towards your right hip, opening up that left shoulder. You have your left hand binded. Go ahead and extend it back out in front. Inhale, lift your right arm high. Exhale, release your right arm down. Come back, forehead to the floor or to a block, rolling from side to side. Gently come to a tabletop position, stacking your wrists underneath your shoulders, knees directly underneath your hips. Tucking the toes, hammock your belly, lift your gaze up towards the ceiling, spiral your elbow creases in, deep inhale. On your exhale, scoop and arch, untuck your toes, round your spine up towards the ceiling, gaze towards the tops of your thighs. Inhale, tuck your toes, gently lift your gaze up towards the ceiling. On your exhale, untuck your toes, round your spine. Maybe this time drawing your gaze higher up your thighs. In that movement a few more times, come through neutral spine, tuck your toes, lift your gaze. Untuck the toes, deep exhale, press the earth away. One more time, come through, tuck your toes, deep inhale. On your exhale, untuck your toes, round your spine. Come back through neutral spine, back is flat. Maybe patter out your toes. You're also welcome to place blocks underneath your wrists here, elevating your upper body. We're going to tuck our toes again, maybe bumping your hips forwards and backwards, maybe side to side if that's comfortable for you today. Drawing some circles with the hips, hips towards your wrist, down towards your heels. And what you do in one direction, go ahead and reverse and repeat it on the other side. Coming back to neutral spine, back is flat. Untuck your right toe, untuck your left toe. We're going to lift our right knee up with a bent knee, draw a few circles, opening up that right hip. And then reverse that direction. Back to neutral spine. Kick your right leg straight back. Draw your knee in towards your right elbow. Kick it back. Draw that right leg over the left side, gazing, looking over your left shoulder. Inhale, lengthen, lift that leg. Exhale, draw your knee to your elbow. Inhale to extend. Exhale, draw that right leg over the left side body. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee to elbow. And extend. Exhale, draw the leg over. Holding it here, gazing, looking over your left shoulder. If you'd like to deepen the stretch, pressing your heel in closer towards the floor. To lessen that sensation, you can press into the ball of your foot, into your toes, rocking gently forward. On the exhale, inhale, lift that right leg high, up and over, all the way over to the right hip. You can have a bend that knee or keep it straight. From here, tuck your left toes. We're going to press the hips back and forward. Your right foot is sealed into the floor. 2 more times, rocking your shoulders over your wrist and then pressing your hips back towards your heels. With your left hip stacked over your left knee, gently rise up. Draw your arms up high overhead. Just going to turn and face you guys. So with that right leg straight, left knee's bent, arms would come up high overhead. Release your left hand down to the floor or to a block, stretching that right side body. Gently rise up, arms overhead. Right hand down the right leg, left arm overhead. Rise back up. One more time on each side. Release your left arm down to the floor or to a block. Really stretch that right arm over, right bicep to right ear. Inhale to rise. Arms overhead. Exhale, right hand down the right side of your leg. Try to bend deeper into that right side body, left bicep to left ear. Rise up, shoulders stacked over your hips. Give me 1 cactus of the arms, spread your fingertips wide, lift your gaze, deep inhale. Gently rise forward. Bring your hands to heart center and fold forward, drawing your hands back to the floor underneath your shoulders. On the floor or onto blocks, we're going to gently bring that right knee back in line with our hip. We're going to rock up, grabbing both of your blocks, placing your blocks by your ankles. They can be inside, they can be outside. Gently rise up, arms come up high overhead. Release your right hand down to that block. You can also release it to your ankle. You can release it to the back of your right hip. Left arm stays up high overhead, half camel. Pressing your hips forward. Gently release your right hand from your hip, floor, ankle, or a block. We're going to release our left hand down to the floor, left ankle, left block, or your left hip. Right arm stays up high overhead. Trying to press your hips forward. Gently rise up. One more time on each side. Right hand releases down to the floor, block, or hip. Press your hips forward even more. Maybe lean back. Gently rise up, releasing your right hand from the floor or the block. Release your left hand down to that block. Press your hips forward, maybe lean back further. Gently rise up. Shoulders stacked high over your hips, hands to heart center. Fold forward. If you're using those blocks under your wrist in a tabletop, go ahead and place them back underneath your shoulders. We're going to extend that left leg straight back. Draw your knee in towards your elbow. Kick it back. Draw that left leg over the right side body. Gaze and look over your right shoulder. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee to elbow. Kick it back. Draw that left leg over the right side body. Gaze and looking over your right shoulder. Once more, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, left elbow taps with left knee. Kick it back. Exhale, draw that leg over to the left side. Gazing, looking over your right shoulder. Holding and breathing. You can come onto the ball of your foot, gently rocking forward. You can also deepen that sensation by pressing your heel closer in towards the floor. Holding and breathing. Hold it for the exhale. I'm just going to pivot and face you guys already. Stay just where you're at. Hold it for the exhale. Inhale, draw that left leg up and over. You can have a bend that knee or keep it straight. Sealing your left leg out from your left hip. We're going to tuck the right toes, press the hips back, and then rocking forward, bringing your shoulders back over your wrist. Press it back, slow and controlled. Rock it forward. Towards your right heel. Once more, just like that. Gently rise. Stacking your wrist under your shoulders. Gently rise up, arms come up high overhead. Release your right hand down to the floor or to a block. Left arm comes up high towards the ceiling, maybe arching slightly over. Rise up, stacking your shoulders over your hips. Use your core. Release your left hand down the left side of your leg. Right arm comes up high overhead. Back through center, arms overhead. Releasing your right hand down to the floor to a block. Stretching deeper this time, maybe bring your left bicep to your left ear. Lengthening that left side body. Inhale, gently rise. Arms stack up over your shoulders. Exhale, release your left hand down. Drawing that right shoulder over your left. Inhale to rise. Give me one cactus. Bend the elbows, spread your fingertips wide, lift your gaze. Shoulder blades pulled in towards one another. Inhale, draw your gaze back to center, arms overhead. Hands to heart center, gently fold forward. Bringing your hands to those blocks. From here, we're going to draw that left knee back in line. We're going to find our half camel. So if you have those blocks, go ahead and rise up, placing them to the inside or outside of your ankle. Of course, the blocks are optional. Draw your arms up high overhead. Starting with the left side, release your left hand to your hip, to that block, ankle, or the floor. Pressing your hips forward. So if you find that you're just leaning back, place that block, maybe stack the blocks to each other, pressing your hips forward, even if you're more upright. Release your left arm high towards the ceiling, gaze comes forward. Releasing your right hand to the floor, to the block, pressing your hips forward. Gently rise up, stack your shoulders over your hips, both arms overhead. Release your left arm down to the floor, your hip or a block, pressing your hips forward, maybe arching further back this time. Gently rise up, arms overhead. Release your right hand down to the floor or the block, maybe to your hip or your foot, pressing your hips forward. Rise up, stack your arms overhead, gently fold forward, coming back to our tabletop position. Keeping those blocks under your wrists, we're going to find our tabletop position. We're going to extend the right leg straight back. Draw your knee in towards your nose, round your spine, and then stepping your right foot in between those blocks. You're coming into a runner's lunge. We're going to straighten that right leg, flex your right toes. You can place those blocks higher or lower, pressing your hips back towards your left heel and forward. Just a gentle rock from side to side. stacking your right knee over your right hip, keeping your left hand on the block inside your right foot. Release your right arm up high. Circle out your right wrist. Circle out your shoulder forwards and backwards. Gently rise up, draw your right arm back, left arm forward. Holding here and breathing. Carve your arms back down to the block. Set the blocks out in front. Release your hands down to the floor. We're going to walk our right foot out to the outer edge of your mat. Your right toes are at 2 o'clock. You can grab those blocks and place them back under your hands if you'd like. I'm just going to press the hips forward and rock back. Same thing with our hips in line. This time our right foot and our right knee are at a diagonal. Pressing forward, keeping your right knee stacked over your right hip, placing your left hand on that block and gently pressing your right hand inside your right knee and gently opening up that right knee. Maybe gazing, looking over your right shoulder. If you would like, you can draw that left heel in towards your glute. You can also place a strap around your left foot, releasing your quad. Or you can just keep that left leg relaxed. Hold it here on the exhale. Gently come back to center, hands on the block. Walk the blocks back under your shoulders. Step your right knee back in line. And you bump your hips side to side. To that tabletop position, just going to lower my blocks. Extend your left leg straight back. Draw your knee in towards your nose, round your spine, and then step your left foot in between your palms or blocks. You can bring them to a higher height if that's more comfortable for you. And pressing your hips back, hips towards your right heel, and then drawing your left knee over your left ankle. Once more. As you rise, stacking your left knee over your left wrist. Keep your right hand to the inside of your left foot on the floor or on a block. Release your left arm high, opening up your chest. Circle out your left wrist. Circle out your shoulder forwards and backwards. Here. Draw that left arm back, right arm forward, rise up. Twisted lunge. Really drawing your fingertips long in opposite direction. On your exhale, cartwheel your hands down. Gently move your blocks off to the side. You can still keep your hands on them. We're going to gently draw our left foot to the outer left edge. And then drawing your toes to 10 o'clock so they're not directly vertical. You can place your blocks back inside. We're going to press the hips forward and back. The next one, gently keep the rock forward, left knee over your left ankle, keeping your right hand on that block or on the floor, gently placing your left hand inside your left knee and gently gazing, looking over your left shoulder, opening up that left hip. If you would like, you can draw that right heel in towards your right glute. Maybe wrap a strap around the top shoelace portion of your right foot, opening up your right quad, or you can just keep that right leg relaxed on the floor. Gentle pressure on your left knee. Come back through center, placing your hand on the blocks, releasing your left knee back in line with your right. Just setting those blocks off to the side. Now that we're nice and warm, we're going to come back to our child's pose. So drawing your knees wide, toes to touch. Arms come out long in front. Keeping your arms extended, we're going to come through and we're going to find a flow with a slow chaturanga. We're going to lift the hips, keep the knees bent, and we're going to press forward, stacking your shoulders directly over your hips. So you're in a semi-frog position with your knees bent. Draw your feet in towards your glutes. Elbows stay tucked in towards your body. We're going to lower down for 3, 2, and 1. Once you release all the way down, keep your wrists under your shoulders. Extend your legs. Bend your legs. Press up for 3, 2, and 1. Press back to child's pose. Rocking your hips towards your heels. Let's repeat that exact same movement 2 more times through. Press up. This time keep your heels in towards your glutes as you rock forward, stacking your shoulders over your wrists. Release down for 3, 2, and 1. Extend your legs, lift your palms, lift your chest. Release your hands, bend your knees, heels towards your glutes. Press up for 3, 2, and 1. Draw it back. Child's pose. One more time. Press it forward. Keep your heels in towards your glutes. Stacking your shoulders over your wrists. Lower down this time for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release all the way down. Extend your legs. Lift your upper body. Lift your hands off the floor. And release down. Bend your heels in towards your glutes. Press up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press your hips back. Excuse me. Pressing your hips back. And inhale a feather. Great. Back to where we started, but the fun continues. Go ahead and rise up. We're going to come to a seated position. So you can place 1 or 2 blocks under your hips. You can come just have a seat on the floor. The blocks allow your knees to fall open. And our priority today, opening up your hips. You can be in crisscross applesauce. You can bring the soles of your feet together, whatever is comfortable for you. You can also place blocks or pillows under your knees if allowing them to fall open is uncomfortable for you. You can place the block at any height under your knees to help them stay elevated. From this position, we're going to sweep our arms up high overhead. Release your right hand down to the floor or to a block. Left arm comes up high overhead. Bend your left elbow and extend. Rise up, stack your shoulders over your hips, arms overhead. Release your left hand down to the floor or to a block. Right bicep to right ear, maybe bend into that left elbow. Gently rise up. Releasing your right hand down to the floor. Left bicep to left ear. This time, hold that side bend to the right. Release your left hand to your left knee and gently press your left knee down. So you're stretching that entire left side body. All the way down to your knee and your toes and your hips. Release your left hand, rise up, arms up overhead. Release your left hand down to the floor, side bend over to the left, side stretch all on the right side body. Releasing your right hand down to your right knee and gently pressing your right knee down. Noticing how one side feels different than the other. Hold it on the exhale. Inhale to rise, arms up overhead. In one cactus, bend the elbows, lift the gaze. Inhale to rise. We're going to look over the right shoulder as we release our right hand down. Left knee comes to our right knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale, rise through center. One cactus, bend the elbows, lift the gaze, spread your fingertips wide, squeeze your shoulder blades. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, right hand to left knee, left hand behind. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist deeper, looking over that left shoulder. Inhale, come back through center. Bring your hands to heart center. We're going to find garland pose. So if you're on that block, that's perfect. You can also grab 2 blocks. We're just going to have a seat. We're going to draw the knees wide, toes fall out. So 1 block, 2 blocks, or no blocks. Bringing your hands to heart center. Bringing the crown of your head up. Maybe adjusting your blocks. Maybe adding blocks. Maybe taking blocks out. Maybe rocking your hips slightly backwards. Knees are open. Maybe close your eyes here. More breath just like this. Deep inhale. Exhale through your nose. And then release your palms. Really walk your knees and feet in towards one another. Release that block off to the side. We're going to have a seat on the floor. We'll save those blocks. You will use them. You can grab that strap as well. Bring the sole of your left foot inside your right leg. Right leg is extended long. You can place that block under your right knee with your right knee bent. You can also just hold your knee bent. You can place the block behind your foot. You can also grab a strap and bring it around the bottom arch of your right foot. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, we're going to fold forward. So that right knee can be bent or straight. We're folding down towards our right toes. If you have that block behind you, you can grab past the block. You can also keep that block underneath your right knee. And on your next inhale, gently rise up. I'm just going to switch sides. So if you have that block under your right knee, gently remove it. Extend your left leg long. Draw the sole of your right foot inside your left leg. Maybe rock your hips side to side. You can place that block underneath your left knee, keeping that left knee bent. If you want to add more of a challenge, you can place that block behind your left toes. You're also welcome to grab a strap here, placing around the arch of your left foot. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale to fold. Holding here and breathing. On your inhale, gently rise up. Keep your left leg just where it's at. We're going to extend our right leg long. Grabbing those blocks under each hand, we're going to walk ourselves forward. Forward fold. Align your hips to open more, maybe point flex, circle out the toes. Those who know me know I can barely sit still, so I'm always moving my toes or my hands. You're also more than welcome to hold it still here with your toes pointed, flexed, or relaxed. The focus here is on your hips. You're welcome to release your forearms down to the floor, folding all the way down, maybe bringing your forehead, if you can, to a block. Maybe stacking the blocks like so. Then a pillow would really come in handy in lieu of blocks. Gently walk your hands back in towards your hips. All right, let's do a 90-90 stretch here. This is great hip mobility, flex and stretch here. So still from a seated position, we're going to draw our left knee at a 90-degree bend and draw your right knee at a 90-degree bend. You can lean far into that left side. That right knee doesn't have to be directly up from your hip. It's all based on your hip flexibility. You can pull it back if you'd like. You can also keep it further up, whichever is comfortable. Bringing your hands to heart center, you can also place a block between your palms, or you can place your hands behind your hips. Gently inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, we're going to rotate over to the right side of our body. So you're facing your right knee is bent, your left knee is bent behind you. Coming back to center, looking over your left knee. Deep inhale. Again, hands can be on the floor, block between your hands, or hands at heart center. Rolling over towards your right hip. Coming back over your left hip. This time we're going to add on. So grabbing those blocks, one block in each hand. Place the blocks on either side, your left knee and your right foot. We're going to rise up onto our right knee and your left shin. Pressing your hips forward. Here. And then gently release down, releasing your left hip and then your right hip to the floor. You're welcome to stay just here, where you can place your right hand behind you, lifting your hips up. Left arm reaches up high, so we're in a crab stance. Both of your feet are on the floor. Right hand is behind you, pressing your hips forward. You can also hold it at any angle. You can place a block under your hips. And your hips, you're going to release it down to the floor. We're going to start this time on our right hip. Right knee is forward, left knee is back. So our gaze is towards the back of your mat if you were facing the front, or vice versa, or just swapping your legs. Again, same options. Hands can be behind you, heart center with a block between your palms. Gently fold the knees over, coming over onto your left side. Inhale to rise. Exhale, come back to your right knee. Our hips are nice and open now. One more time through on each side, and then we'll add that hip press. And coming onto our right hip, chest is lifted. Grab those blocks, place them wide on either side between your right foot and your right knee. Gently and slowly lift your hips up, pressing your hips forward so you're on that right shin is at a horizontal, your left shin is vertical. Hold on the exhale. One more inhale. And slow and controlled exhale as you slowly lower, using those blocks. Placing your right hand behind you. We're going to lift our hips up and lower. So we're just pressing our hips up back to that crab stance, pressing your hips up. Left arm lifts and lower once more. You can always place that block under your hips and just lifting up. Your left arm down. If you have that block, go ahead and set it off to the side. We're going to have a seat on our bum with one block. Block between our palms, knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor, hip width apart and parallel. Gently roll back, slow and controlled. Think the slower, the better. Push your back towards the floor, one vertebrae at a time. Lower ab work as you lower. Gently releasing down. Bringing that block over to the side, curl yourself into a tiny ball. Knees in towards your chest. You can grab a strap here and wrap it around your shins. You can grab the back side of your thighs. Gently extending your legs, draw your soles up toward the ceiling, grabbing the outer edge of your feet, or continue to hold the back side of your leg, maybe rolling side to side, happy baby. Your neck is flat on the floor. Keep your right knee in towards your right shoulder, avoiding your rib cage. Extend your left leg long, flex your left toes. Point, flex, or circle out your right foot, your right toes. With your left hand, gently grab the outside of your right knee. Release your right hand by your side and gently pull your right knee across your body. You can place that right knee on a block, hover it in space. It does not have to touch the floor. Gently release your right arm out to a T. You can also bend your right elbow. Back through center, draw your right knee back in towards your right shoulder. And draw a few hip circles here. And switch. Extend your right leg long, draw your left knee in towards your left shoulder, avoiding your left rib cage. Right toes are flexed, pressing your calf in towards the floor. Left toes point, flex, circle out the toes, the ankles. Your right hand, grab the outside of your left knee, gently releasing your left hand by your left hip and drawing that left knee gently across the right side of your body. You can place that left knee on a block, maybe bringing your left ear or cheek to the floor. You can extend that left arm long out to a T or cactus the left arm, bending your elbow, fingertips towards the crown of your head. Coming back through center, keeping that connection with your left knee and your left shoulder, drawing a few circles here. And reverse that direction. Draw your knees back in towards your chest, curl yourself into a tiny ball. And then plant your feet down close in towards your hips. Grab that block, lift your hips up, and on its lowest setting, place that block underneath your hips, allowing your hips to fall into that block. Feet are grounded towards the floor, palms by your side. Gently extend your right leg up towards the ceiling, followed by your left leg up towards the ceiling. You can extend your arms up or keep them down by your side. Point, flex, circle out your ankles and your wrist. And then gently releasing your arms down, bending one knee at a time, gently planting your foot on the floor, knees are bent. Coming back to supported bridge. Block is under the hips. Now the soles of the feet to touch, knees fall open. Recline butterfly with the block still under your hips. Noticing what different sensations you're feeling along your hips and when your feet were grounded in towards your mat. Gently guide your knees back towards one another. Feet are in towards the floor. Lift your hips, releasing that block off to the side. Bend your legs long, heels to touch, toes fall open, fingertips by your side, or any final resting position that's comfortable for you. You can come back to butterfly, on the soles of the feet to touch. Maybe bringing one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Coming back to your breath. Or Shavasana. Belly rise, belly fall with your breath. Maybe wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingers. Come back into a tight ball, curling your knees in towards your chest. And gently rock to one side, your left or your right side. Resting your ear on your bicep. Coming back to fetal position. Planting your top arm on the floor, gently pressing yourself up to a seated position of choice. Soles of your feet to touch, crisscross applesauce. You can also have a seat on a block. Sweep your arms up high overhead. Knee one cactus, bend the elbows, lift the gaze. Draw your gaze back forward, arms overhead, hands to heart center. Thank you all so much for allowing me to share my practice with you this morning and each and every class. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, weekend, month. Thank you all. Namaste.